So thank you, EMSA colleagues. We will you saw briefly on the screen the outcome of the poll. So the top topics of interest, and since we're a bit late on time, we will briefly go through the most recurring questions in the chat, as raised also during the webinar. But what I would like also you to strongly encourage to is to have a look at the recordings of both previous webinars and today's webinars, which will be available as of next week together with the presentations. Because if you go at the last 20 minutes of the event, you will see there are Q&As, and we notice also that some questions were already addressed and raised again today. So it's always useful to use those records as a reference. And on top of that, I would like to stress that we're about to revise the FAQs. Again, many of the questions raised will be in the FAQs available very soon in the revised version on DigiClima website in a matter of a couple of weeks maximum. So today we saw a lot of interest for the responsible entity point, and related to these, there was a question also about the possibility how to in practice delegate responsibility from the ship owner to an ISM company, whether a mandate is foreseen. On these question, Tim, do you want to provide some elements?
Yes, thank you, Luca, and good morning to all participants. So indeed, there seems to be a need to provide some more clarification, explanation about how to select and appoint a shipping company under the ETS MRV. But let's first remind the rules as regard the definition of shipping company. According to the rules, there should be only one company responsible for both ETS and MRV requirements. And this entity can either be the registered ship owner or the so-called ISM company, also called a dock holder. And at the end of the day, it's up to you to decide who is the most appropriate entity to take over this responsibility, the MRV ETS responsibility. And so typically, for instance, a registered ship owner could well decide to give the ETS MRV responsibility to a ship manager, because the ship manager could be in a better position to implement these new obligations, MRV and ETS. And that's indeed something that is possible to do. However, in such a case, it's important for the ship manager to make sure that, for the ship owner to make sure that the ship manager is the ISM company, the dock holder for the ship concerns. And both entities will have to sign a mandate establishing clearly the transfer of responsibility for MRV and ETS obligation from the registered ship owner to the ISM company. And this has to be done through a mandate. We will not provide a template for that specific mandate, but the implementing legislation is clear about the list, about the elements that will have to be in such a document. For instance, the name of the registered ship owner, the name of the ISM company, the relevant IMO numbers, the contact details, and so on. And we will make sure that these elements are also easy for you to find on our FAQ page. It's also important for you to keep in mind that if such a mandate is established, so between the registered ship owner and the ISM company, the shipping company will have to submit the mandate to its administering authority. And to facilitate this process, THETIS MRV will offer the possibility to upload the document, the mandate, on the ship page. But we encourage you, when the mandate will be done, to check with your administering authority whether the mandates have to be submitted through THETIS or via another way. Okay.
Thank you, Tim. I would like also to elaborate a bit again on responsible entity, because we had questions related to the possibility of divergent subjects taking responsibility for ETS MRB. This has been covered by Tim reply already, but also in relation to registry operations. So we had the questions, for instance, in the case of a ship owner, wanted to delegate some ETS MRB responsibility to ISM companies, but retaining the compliance responsibility in the registry. Well, the answer is that again, the entity shall be the same, because only the entity, the regulated entity taking responsibility for MRV ETS obligations will be able to open a MOA account, where MOA stands for Maritime Holding Operator Holding Account. And the MOA account is the only way to surrender obligation and ensure compliance in the Union Registry. So it has to be clear. A different thing is the trading account, which simply gives the possibility to any subject to purchase allowances, but this relates to practical operational arrangements between companies. But to open the MOA account, you have to be identified as a shipping company under the directive and the regulation. And then we would also ask whether there is possibility to involve the other companies which are not ISM companies in the compliance system. And again, the answer is no, because it is still possible for companies to delegate some operational tasks which have to do with MRV ETS compliance, if they wish so, to other companies. But this is this remains an operational arrangement between the party, which has no impact with the compliance situation of the responsible company, which will the ultimate responsible, the one enforcement will look at.
Thank you, Luca. We also see some interest to better understand the mechanism to attribute an administering authority to a shipping company. We already explained the process during the first webinar, but just to provide some additional clarification, in particular, in case a shipping company is not in the first list that will be published in February. So yeah, the first list will be there published on 1st February next year, and the association, so the administering authority that will be associated to you, this will be also available in THETIS MRV. But it's not because you're not on the list that you are exempted from the ETS obligation. The list will be based on information coming from THETIS MRV, and any shipping company with ships doing voyages falling within the scope of the ETS during the reporting period that starts as from beginning of next year should, of course, comply with the relevant ETS obligation. And so in the case of a shipping company that is not on the list, it is the responsibility of the shipping company to determine itself, its administering authority, applying the rules spelled out in the ETS directive that are also explained on our FAQ webpage, and that we also went into more details during the first webinar. And the THETIS MRV help desk will also be there to assist, if need be, the companies in assigning and determining their responsible administering authority in the system. Of course, in such a case, the company will then be added to the list as part of the next update of the list. But in the meantime, the company will remain associated with the administering authority that it has identified according to the rules. I hope this clarifies this specific question.
Yes, and with this one, I would like to pass the floor to our registry colleagues to address a couple of the most recurrent questions on this presentation. Ralph, and then Maria.
Yes, we have, I believe we have a few questions here. First one was, as a shipping company, am I obliged to also open a trading account to purchase allowances? No, not at all, you're not obliged. You can open your Maritime operator holding account, and that will serve the purpose. A trading account is on a voluntary basis. Can a shipping company based outside the EU open a maritime operator holding account? Yes, it's even an obligation actually to request such an account. Compliance with surrender obligations will have to be done with this account, and then we have another question, tax implications for acquiring, transferring to and surrendering EUAs. Well, tax obligations are in the remit of the member states, actually. That's not a EU question. So it can be, it depends on in which member state you're registered in. This is where I think the questions on my side, and there were some more. Maria, maybe you want to take them?
Yes, thank you, Ralph. So indeed, for the registry application specific questions, for the first one, you have asked when will the new registry account designer, the user interface, would be available to the end user, since some of you have already noticed that it's not exactly the same as you have it now. Indeed, the plan is to make available the new user interface alongside the Maritime implementation on mid-January 2024. So around 15th of January, at least this is our target plan. And linked to this, it will be possible as well to start requesting the opening of Maritime operator holding account. It just means that the functionality is there. But as we have mentioned earlier, you have to start requesting the account opening for MOHA only once the attribution list is published. But the functionality will be available around 15th of January. And then next question is about the Maritime verifier registration in the registry. So as a verifier, verifier user can already register in the registry using the old user interface. And however, you could also create an account for the verifier. However, this is not fully implemented for Maritime. So in order for you to set the accreditation, for you to be able to verify a Maritime operator, this is the one that is pending. So this is what we are working on currently to be implemented. The provisional date is in May 2024 for the full functioning of the verifier. So this is using the new user interface as well. So the complete package for verifier with the new user interface would be available provisionally on May 2024. And the last question is about the tutorial videos or other support tool for MOHA. So for the support materials like manuals and video tutorials, we are currently working on this to update them because they are existing currently, but using the old interface. So in order for this manuals and videos to be adopted with the same design as we have showed you earlier, we have to update them. So the target as well is to have this available once we have the user interface ready in production, which is around January. And that's, I believe, all from our side. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Maria-Louise. Very briefly, a couple of questions for our EMSA colleagues in Lisbon, and then we will wrap up this webinar. Thank you.
Okay, we have several questions on the chat. So we cannot answer all of them, but we'll go on some of them. Some questions about the obligation to prepare and submit the monitoring plan via the THETIS MRV. Yes, it's from now on, it's mandatory to submit and prepare the monitoring plan at the THETIS MRV. It's going to be made available from the January 2024, but the templates are already published and companies can start working on them from right now, as we said before. The XML file will be available, and the preparation or the schema for the XML files will also be available by the end of November, so that companies can also start preparing their IT systems the best way possible. We also have another question about when the list of shipping companies is published. As a shipping company, do I have to do something in THETIS MRV, like selecting my administering authority? We have also explained about that. No, but it's important to understand that once the monitoring plan is ready to be submitted to administering authorities, the companies will have to click on the button as it was presented before, and on the submission to the administering authority. And then the system will notify the relevant administering authority to follow up as appropriate. This will be also the same idea for the ships emission reports and company emissions reports. So basically, from the moment that you have the attributed administering authority, which is going to, as Lucas explained before, it's going to be attributed. And if you don't have this attribution, of course, you can contact EMSA and ask for the process as fast as possible. So now I'm going to give the floor back to you in Brussels. And, thank you.
Thank you very much. Then I would just like to thank again for your active participation of all the participants. We got quite a number of questions. We tried to address as many as we could, but we also know that there might be some that we didn't manage to address. But we would like to encourage you to look at all the material that is available on our website, because some of your questions might already be answered in that material, including the frequently asked questions that already Luca referred to. So after today's seminar, we're going to send the link to the presentations, or presentation themselves, and the link to the webinar, recording of the webinar to all of the participants, including the link to the website where we have all the material published. We will also circulate a link to an online survey, a bit similar than as we did today, to further help us sort of focus the future seminars and the communication material on our website to really try to answer the main questions that you have as well as we can. I would just like to encourage you again to, in addition to the emails that you will receive, to also just on a regular basis check the website of EMSA and the Commission for the answers to your questions and explanatory material, because we will of course keep updating what is already available there. And if you still have any, let's say, leftover questions after studying that material, please do contact us also through the email address for the help desk that we foresee for to support you in preparing for the implementation of the EU Emission Trading System. So with that, I would also like to thank colleagues for the preparation of this webinar and for all the hopefully clear explanations today, and then close the webinar and yeah, see you next time. Thank you very much.